Okay, where we was? Okay, we was in the bonus features right here. So watch the short documentary on design of demons in Little Hope. That's interesting to look at. See if it actually shows. Ah, yeah.
I just saw someone in the woods. Okay, very good. We're freaked. Who's there?
Whoever you are, this isn't funny at all.
The demons are an integral part of the story of Little Hope. It's the crux of a lot of the things that happen, and that informs a large part of what we're doing. The starting point for each of the demons was the style of execution. They're based on a character that gets killed. That then informs how the character behaves, how it moves, how it sounds, and those are all brought together to give us that convincing, terrifying demon.
In order to make convincing demons, you need to ground them in nature. So what we do is we use our understanding of anatomy and our deep understanding of biomechanics and the principles of the way things move and the way things actuate, and we apply this to the demon design. We obviously start with the production design. The production design is a drowned demon. What we need to do then is look for extra reference. We have to look at stuff like autopsies. We'd look at what happens to the skin when it gets exposed to water for a long time. We have to look at creatures from underwater. We look at various types of fish. Loads of images and real-world reference helps, although it's slightly gruesome.
This particular demon we're looking at is the one that's been hung. We didn't want to show the whole of this character, and right from the beginning we said, let's focus on the areas which are the most terrifying. And so the overall silhouette of the character was to be like this twisted rope. Her limbs had coiled, and so we were exaggerating the metaphor of this hanging. 1,000 years had been trailed along the ground. It had worn away her feet, the bones being worn down, the nails being broken off. She'd been in pain for a long time. The most key of all of the elements was the face and how we framed that, and that was that broken, twisted neck, one eye remaining, a tear coming out because it's that last remains of her soul. The noose was digging into her neck, and her tongue was actually so bloated and grown that actually became a feature for us in the game, that tongue actually becomes a grapple to get hold of some of the characters.
Ugh.
To animate a demon, we would start with looking at how they walk or move forward. Some of them are dragging themselves, and then also how they would attack their victims, just flesh out the layout and the choreography of it. Mocap is a big help. Obviously, it's a lot faster than keyframing from scratch. So we decided to use it as a base for some of them, and then we would layer on top of that all the characteristics that bring them to life, even though they're dead.
The Crush Demon in particular was difficult to work with because we weren't able to use motion capture footage, so that is going to be completely hand animated. So that meant we were really starting from scratch. All the other demons, we did use actors' footage, so we have a lot of actors with spikes tied to them, limping across the scene.
Let's get the fuck out of here!
On the Broke Demon, we asked the actor to use various props to try and achieve the sort of movement that we wanted. And I think he did a great job. It was really successful. We've had to, again, add on to that to help with the weight and the believability.
We take our initial cues for the sound of the demons from the visuals, and they look fantastic. But then we have to take the sound of the demons beyond the visuals to give them a really strong otherworldly presence. We need each of the demons to be individually recognisable whilst maintaining that uncomfortable unfamiliarity for the player. So at distance you might hear the chains clanking or the vocal screams. But when you get close up to the demons, you hear lots of detail, the cracking of skin, the creak of the chains, the breaths or the sound of the icky vomit. We really want the player to feel the breath through the sound of the demon on their face.
I wonder how they did the vomit part with the sound.
Camera work for the demons. One thing that was really at the forefront of my mind was trying not to show too much, trying not to lose all restraint, and I think that's a really easy trap to fall into with CG in general, and especially with games that You've got all these monsters that you've built and you've spent a lot of time working on, and it's really easy just to go straight to putting everything on screen. But thinking back to some classic horrors, classic monster movies, a lot of times there the directors had to use a lot of restraint and just show little bits and pieces because they didn't have that kind of budget or that kind of effect to really make it convincing. And there's something about that I really like that I wanted to bring back to Little Hope. So when I was directing the camera team, I asked them to show little bits, little glimpses, a clawed hand here, a shadow on the wall there, the chains rattling, whatever the key characteristics were of that demon. The interesting thing with that is that I think sometimes your imagination as a viewer fills in the blanks in a far more terrifying way than we really could. So we tried to build up that suspense, working up to this big reveal where you finally see full on in the light this thing that's been hunting you down in all its gross, horrific glory. With the demon scenes, lighting definitely had a key part to play as well. It had to work complementary to what we wanted to do with the cameras, but also there's some very specific things you can do with lighting that really lent itself to this task. So one of the big ones was the use of silhouettes. The demons have really interesting form and really interesting shapes. They're very unusual, you know, these humanoid creatures all distorted, and we wanted to use that without revealing too much. So quite often we try to use backlighting, or the fog that's present all through Little Hope is a really useful tool for silhouettes, as you can have this nice separation with a brighter background and then have the creature dark in the foreground. It was a nice way to make them feel even more gross than they really were.
The Little Hope narrative is extremely multi-layered, and the demons not only represent the tortured souls of the characters, but they also represent the psychological trauma that humans can obtain through witnessing traumatic events. So when the game opens in the prologue and the main character is witnessing these traumatic events, we underscore this with really strong male Gregorian choir, which we use later in the game when the demons are attacking to really strengthen and reference that psychological trauma with the tormented souls of the characters.
Run! Now!
The broken demon's the most terrifying because of the way it moves. It's really unsettling because you can't anticipate where it's going to go next. All the limbs are breaking and it's all moving in a really erratic way. So if you were to try and escape from it, you wouldn't know where to go because it might go there or it might go over here. So that's the most terrifying in terms of unpredictability, I suppose, and having a deep effect on your psyche.
Interestingly, when you work at Supermassive, you get immune to horror. That's one thing I've definitely noticed. The powers of horror somehow get lost in me every time I'm watching a horror movie. I don't get so scared anymore just because I see this stuff every day. But doing those demon scenes, I must admit, even watching them back as they were work in progress, it was always like fairly distressing and fairly horrific. So hopefully some of that comes across in the experience for the player too.
I think the most scariest one was the girl that's hung. That's the most scariest demon. She with that tongue, oh my goodness. Now I hope you can see what's going on in the video. For some reason Man Medan didn't let you look at the I guess they eased up on it. Oh, hold on, I can zoom in. Can I? Oh, no, wait a minute. Let's zoom out. Oh, I guess you can't zoom in. The Art of Little Hope. Why did that zoom out as an option? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. For a pivotal role in the story of colonial, oh, I can't pronounce that. Style house will have an instantly recognizable form for many with a presence that immediately conveys a sense of unease. The interior of the house is designed to evoke the 1970s and much classic horror of that period in a family home with a lived-in look and feel. Maybe a concept. That's the game. Concept and game. Okay. Pockets of light with pools of shadow create uncertainty in the case in Megan's room. I think that was it. You got a whole triangle to zoom out. The house fire is big and dramatic, punctuation the tragedy and providing an explosive end to the shocking opening of the story. This concept. The sombre color palette of the funeral scene is a stark contrast to the vivid intensity of the house fire that precedes it and creates a bridge between the 1970s and present-day Little Hope. The aftermath of the bus crash introduces the principal characters and illustrations how the accident and principal characters and illustrates how the accident separated them into two groups. Concept game. It's a lot of writing here. The fog itself is a key character in the story, seemingly controlling the journey of the characters, following them and concealing the memories of Little Hope. Little Hope is an American ghost town, void of the community that once gave it life. The buildings evoke this loss of humanity, loneliness, and isolation. Okay. This macabre and unnerving effigy is one of the first clues of previous pagan activity in Little Hope, and begins to suggest the theme of witchcraft which appears to taint the town and surrounding area. This image of a young girl dancing around a fire in 17th century attire serves to connect the events of 1692 with those in the 1970s and immediately proposes the witchcraft and witch trials theme. Further reinforcing the themes of loss and isolation, the skeletal form of the children's playground is a much used horror trope that serves us well in Little Hope. Pagan symbolism is a recurring motif within Little Hope. Many locations contain elements pointing towards the occult and witchcraft, linking it to the town's dark past. Okay. Exploration of the long deserted buildings in Little Hope provides the players with new information about the town's history and possible connections between past and present events. From the outside, the police station appears to be less I ain't first gonna pronounce that than other buildings, and the search for help and assistance just creates a small sense of hope. But the interior of the police station reflects the same abandonment seen throughout the rest of the town as hope turns to greater desperation. The striking silhouettes and abrasive fog throughout Little Hope's graveyard lend it an appropriately ominous look and feel synonymous with much 1970s horror. Continuing the isolation theme, even in a town populated in the 17th century, is supported by shifting the color palette between present day and the historical town. Exterior locations are dryly authentic to those that would be typical to New England, I was about to say New Orleans, across different eras. We added a camera system to be used where appropriate in all future Dark Pictures games. Inside the museum is a perfect example of how this gave the look a significant advantage. Yeah, because that camera system, I be thinking there's a cutscene going on with a camera system. I think that's part of it. The entirety of the present-day town conveys not only a passing of time, but the distress caused by time, and reinforcement of the sense of loss and despair in the narrated. Let me see. Concept game. Every execution links directly to the events of the 1970s. Not just in method, but in its composition and presentation. Composition. Okay. The church represents a further refuge that is fast eliminated as a place of safety. The 7th century and present day incarnations of the church are structurally the same, but dressed appropriate to the time period. A location that's key to the opening prologue conversation between James and Anne is a textile factory, which is now, as James suggests it would be, absent of any industry. The arrival at the burnt out but recognizable colonial house near the climax of the game is a powerful moment, the closing of a narrated loop that suggests imminent closure. The brutal execution by Prussian reflects a genuine historic penalty called Prime Forte et Dor. I know I didn't pronounce that right. It was used against those accused of a crime who refused to enter a plea. The house last seen ablaze at the beginning of the story is revisited at the end of the game. Players can investigate the same space, which now has a very different feel. Oh, this has got two here? Okay. The family home bookends Little Hope's story, from a family home to an empty shell. That was... Wait a minute, there's something below here, isn't it? Can't get down to that. I guess that's nothing. I don't see no words below that. Okay, this is the character concepts right here. The person that plays Angela, she's a big lady. She's not that skinny. Thought usually most of the time they would have the person that mocaps, the actual person that mocap, the actor or actress, they would have them like the same size as them too, and the same face. I think her face is different from Angela's also. I don't think she had glasses either. Then you got a whole watch on and everything. Now his body kind of looks like really shaped it from. Let me see. His body looks normal, but his body looks really shaped, and I guess it's the way he's posing. I do like that red shirt though. Megan. Megan is just like a little. She seems weird to me. I don't know if they actually had got that little girl. I don't know if that's the actual actress face, but I'll have to see maybe. Okay. I think that's it. I just have to get the Brass Secrets locked if I collect all Brass Secrets and Silver Secrets. That would help you understand the story more better. I don't know. If you don't look it up. I'm gonna go back to the secrets thing. I almost got all of them, I think. No, not really. Must be missing things. How you can tell which ones is the Brass and which one is the Silver Secrets? Oh, okay, yeah, I can see it. Okay, this side is the silver because the shape of the circle is silver-like. This side is the brass. I got a lot of brass ones I miss. Like I miss more brass ones than silver ones. But okay. I'm gonna go eat now, and I'm gonna eat probably eat like one piece of my cake today. To eat some more tomorrow. I didn't finish it yet. I only got 5 trophies in this game. It's 31 trophies in this game. I guess that shows pretty much everything here. They haven't showed the next game. It might show the Devil Me. I haven't played that yet. I gotta play House of Ashes. The fourth game, the Devil Me. I might play that like next year. Pretty sure I'm gonna play that next year. If I'm still alive. See what it does here. Check something out real quick. Just give me 2 options. Oh, okay, yep. It's giving me the Curators cut right there as an option. Oh, I wouldn't be able to see this unless I have somebody else playing it. Okay. Alright, guys. See you guys later. Like and subscribe. That was a pretty weird. I don't know which one I like the best. Either Little Hope or Medan, but I think I like Little Hope a little better than Medan for some reason. I don't know. I have to think about it once I play House of Ashes and stuff. But ready to eat. Bye.